For those of us who can remember when Oprah and Geraldo first gained massive popularity in the 90s, it was also the time of great influx for talk show hosts. Everyone had a show, and I mean everyone. Even Robin Givens and Tempest Bledsoe had a show. But the big three, the ones that everyone remembers, that was Ricki Lake, Jenny Jones, and Sally Jessy Raphael. They were the hottest, the ones with the most shocking storylines, the biggest ratings. Let's take a trip down memory lane, asking the questions, what happened and where are they now? Sally Jessy Raphael.
Come on, everybody's doing it. Oh, don't worry, this thing doesn't hurt. Seems these days that sex, and especially losing your virginity, is on every teenager's mind.
When it comes to guys, I'm just not interested right now.
I just want to wait to find the right girl.
I would like to keep my virginity.
She has no social life.
Mom, just stop pressuring me.
She does not get along with people her age.
No more negligees and no more condoms, okay?
I think she's just holier than all.
No, I do not.
Yes.
Every time a guy looks at her, all they think about is sex.
I just can't handle.
Sally Jessy Raphael. So a little about Sally. She was born as Sally Lowenthal on February 25th, 1935 in Easton, PA. She spent time in San Juan, Puerto Rico, where her father, Jesse Lowenthal, was in the rum exporting business, and her mother, Zelda, ran an art gallery. When she was a teenager, she moved to Scardell, New York, where she worked at her first job in media at a local AM radio station called WFAS. The station had a program for junior high school students, and Sally read the news. She then attended Carnegie Mellon University in Pittsburgh, PA, and then the University of Puerto Rico in San Juan. She then studied acting in New York at the neighborhood Playhouse School of the theater. She then took her mother's maiden name of Raphael as her professional name and added in the surname of Jessy from her father's family. She then went to Columbia University and after graduation became a news correspondent covering Central America for the Associated Press and United Press International. Her ability to speak both English and Spanish fluently led her to do media in Puerto Rico, where she worked in both radio and television. One of her jobs was doing a TV cooking show. It was while working in radio that she met her second husband, Carl Soderlund, who was the general manager of a radio station that hired her. After he was fired, the two left Puerto Rico to work in Miami, Florida. It was while Sally was on the air as a radio announcer in Miami that she met and became friends with talk show host Larry King. Over the next few years, she bounced around from station to station in both Puerto Rico and the United States, working as a DJ, news reporter, and the host of a show where she interviewed celebrities. She refused to give up, even though at one point she had worked at 24 stations and was fired from 18 of them. In the early 1980s, she finally got the right opportunity when she was asked to do a call-in advice show on WMCA in New York City. In the late 1980s, she got the opportunity to guest star as herself in the TV show The Equalizer on an episode called Making of a Martyr. Sally's husband, Carl, then assumed the role of her manager and was a partner. In 1981, she hosted a radio call-in advice show distributed by NBC TalkNet, and while hosting the show, she came to the attention of producer Maurice Tunick. Maurice had auditioned a couple of potential hosts for a new radio show that he was looking to produce, but had not found the right one. Maurice gave Sally a 1-hour trial run in August of 1981. Before going on the air, she decided that rather than doing a political show, she would give advice and discuss subjects she knew a lot about, such as relationship problems. Soon, her advice show was being heard on over 200 radio stations, and she developed a loyal group of fans. One of those fans turned out to be talk show host Phil Donahue, who happened to hear her show one night and liked how she related to the audience. His encouragement led to a tryout on television where producer Bert DeBrow gave her a chance to be a guest on a talk show of his. She was not very polished, but people who had loved her radio show were very positive about her being on TV. Her non-threatening and common sense manner appealed to DeBrow, who believed she would gain more confidence as she got some TV experience. By mid-October 1983, she was given her own show on KSDK-TV in St. Louis. The Sally Jesse Raphael show premiered on October 17, 1983, and was only a half hour, but it was the beginning of her successful career as a talk show host. Now, a quick tea break. Where do the signature red glasses come from? Sally became known to television viewers for her oversized red frame glasses, but it seems that this was actually by accident. The source of her famous red frame glasses goes all the way back to her first broadcast news job. Sally had difficulty reading the teleprompter, and with 5 minutes before airtime, she quickly went to a store across the street from the studio to purchase a pair of reading glasses. Now, the only one she could find was a red pair. Now, while her bosses disliked them, the audience seemed to think that they looked good, so she kept wearing that style from then on. Sally and her husband Carl have one son together named Jason, but Sally was actually married before Carl to a man named Andrew Vladimir, with whom she had 2 daughters, Allison and Andrea. But in February of 1992, tragedy would strike, with Sally's daughter Allison passing away at the age of 33. Her death was ruled an accidental overdose because of a combined effect of several prescribed drugs. During the 90s, as other shows started to emerge, it seemed that shock tactics started to dominate the talk show space. Of course, Sally and the producers of her show felt the pressure, and so her show went from covering human interest subjects and hard-hitting news items to shows about daily stories of feuding relationships and sexual exploits.
Imagine what it would be like if you were walking down the street with your daughter and you knew that everyone thought that she was a prostitute and you might be her madam.
How could you sit there and say, what's wrong with your wearing?
I don't care what anyone else thinks. I dress this way to get what I want.
If you dress like that, they're not going to look at your beauty, they're going to look at your booty.
Like hoes, you must be hoes.
The mothers on our show today say that they're really just plain at the end of their ropes. They say they are disgusted because the daughters really look like hookers. Please meet Roseanne. She says her daughter Linda dresses so sleazy that Roseanne's got to get up very early every morning just to make sure that Linda doesn't walk out of the house wearing little more than her underwear. And if you think that's bad, Linda's sister Doreen says Linda looks like nothing more than a streetwalker. Well, Linda's waiting backstage, and we're going to see for ourselves if she looks as bad as the mother and sister say she does. But Roseanne, let me ask you, how big a problem is this?
It's a huge problem.
But just clothing, why is it, why does that?
I'm worried about her safety. That's number one. Number two is I'm just afraid that one day somebody's going to rape her or either murder her. And I just can't handle it anymore. She's a beautiful girl. There's no reason for her to dress that way.
Okay.
I admit I happen to be a sexy dress. I always was. But there's a difference.
But acorns don't fall far from trees.
Between dressing sexy and looking cheap.
Yes, that's
okay.
Why do you think she developed this pattern? I mean, what's going on
Well, when
here?
she was in junior high school, she was heavy, and she was always insecure because the boys always put her down. They used to say, "Oh, here she comes," fat, and she used to laugh and smile at it, and then she used to cover herself with these big, huge sweaters, these big, huge pants. Then Linda was losing weight. And I says, Linda, why are you wearing these big, heavy clothes?
Sally celebrated her 3,500th episode in early 1998, but by 2000, Sally's show was in decline and ratings were the lowest they had been in 12 years. She was having problems with her syndicator, USA Networks, and believed that it was more interested in doing promotion for Jerry Springer, whose show was more popular than hers, and Maury Povich, who had recently left Paramount Television to join USA. Sally has said that she began to hate working for her show during the last years and blamed her producers to driving her into the tabloid subjects that Maury and Jerry Springer were doing. In an interview, Sally said, "The last years of doing those Maury Povich, Jerry Springer shows, I hated them. I was betrayed by some of the producers into doing that. Come to think of it, I should have fought harder for what I knew was right, what I knew that I didn't want to do." When speaking about what her show was in the beginning, Sally said, "We weren't doing what I call bad television. It's easy to do bad television, screaming and yelling. We were doing a lot of health, and we were doing politics. We were doing unruly children. We were doing a lot of makeovers. I probably would have gone on trying desperately to change it back to what I thought would work. But NBC was not having it." By March of 2002, it was announced that after an 18-year run, her show was being canceled. Sally said that the hardest part of the show's cancellation was that she felt that she had betrayed the show's staff. "They told us that the show was going to go on, and we had 250 employees. Now, some of them said, 'Sally, we need to know if we're going to be renewed. I want to buy a house, or my wife and I want to be pregnant.' And then within 2 months after they bought their house and got pregnant or whatever, I had to go in front of the entire crew and staff and tell them that it was over." Sally said that she never knew the cancellation was coming. "I'm sure there are some who think that I knew all along. I did not. I would not." But Sally confessed if she could do it all over again, she admits that she would have done things differently. After her show was canceled, Sally spent most of her time taking care of her sick husband, Carl, who had both Alzheimer's and Parkinson's diseases. Sally's husband unfortunately passed away in August of 2020 after his condition deteriorated further. In recent interviews, Sally has spilled some tea. She says that she believes the reason why her show was canceled is that she was secretly battling cancer. She said her decision to tell her bosses that she might have had cancer was a stupid one, and that it created the perfect excuse for them to end her show. Sally has since recovered, and she is now 22 years free from cancer. Sally, who is now 87 years old, spends the majority of her time with her grandchildren, Max and Kyle. Ricki Lake.
"Oh, Ricki, it's awful. You ought to see my daughter.
Mirror, mirror on the wall.
Every mother's dream.
Why blend in?
Who's the fairest of them all?
I'm having so much fun. I have to rebel. I have to.
Moms who say if you don't look good,
She looks like a freak. Belongs in the circus.
we don't look good.
Sweetheart, you get the crap off your face, put some clothes on, or there is no more funds for college." Ouch!
Next, Ricki Lake.
Step right up and let me introduce you to our guests. They have tattoos, body piercings, dyed hair, spikes through their faces. You name it, they've got it. But their mothers think they look like they belong in a circus. These guests are here to confront their mothers and say, "Mom, you think I look like a sideshow freak, but chill out, 'cause I look cool." Change your hair color once a week. You have so many piercings that your body has more holes than Swiss cheese. You wear only rubber and latex clothing, and you think that you look fine. This is exactly how my guest's daughter dresses. Meet Dee Dee. She got so fed up with her daughter Mikey's freaky appearance that she kicked her out of her house. Dee Dee, before we meet your daughter, tell us, how does she look?
"Oh, Ricki, it's awful. You ought to see my daughter. She looks like a freak. She's got the ultimate color of hair almost every day of the week. She changes
it. What is it? What color is it now?
It's electric blue.
Making you proud, Mom.
Oh, every mother's dream, let me tell you.
So what, is this breaking your heart?
It's breaking my heart, and it's also letting me see that my daughter has no future for college or for her profession that she's chosen.
Wait. Because of the way she looks. Wait, you're disagreeing with what she's saying.
You gotta love your daughter regardless of who she is. You're the main source of motivation for her to go to the future. Gotta let her represent. You have to be behind anything she does. Represent her. That's your daughter. You carried her for 9 months. Love her. I love your daughter. I never even met her.
Thank you. All right. Let's see if you keep that same attitude after you see the way Mikey looks, all right? Shall we meet Mikey? Mikey, come on out. She's definitely got a sense of her own style, but you know what, Mom? I disagree. It's not electric blue. It's more of like a purple, right? What do you think about what your mom said? She's embarrassed.
Well, what do I say? She's embarrassed? Well, I think she's gonna get over it. Plain and simply.
No.
She's just gonna have to deal with it.
So tell us, what have you done to your body? You have piercings?
I have piercings, tattoos, change my hair color once a week. Just whatever I can.
And do you do it? Why do you do it? Do you do it for the attention?
Well, coming from a conservative state, I have to rebel. I have to. I cannot be like everybody else. There's no way. I mean, beauty's only skin deep. I like to have fun. All it is just pure fun.
What do you think? Do you guys have a problem with the way she looks? Okay, but wait. You say no, but if you saw her walking down the street, you wouldn't point fingers and make fun or... No? And sir, you still hold the same opinion before?
Definitely.
You'd be proud of her if she was your daughter?
Definitely.
I mean, you still, through the wacky look, you still are a gorgeous girl.
Thanks. Very beautiful.
Yes, sir. What do you want to say?
Yes, I think it's a phase she's going through. She looks pretty and you're beautiful. Stay like that.
How long has this phase lasted, Mom?
This has been going on for 7 years.
Ooh, that's a pretty long phase. What do you want to say to your daughter? Turn to her and tell her what this all is doing to you.
Mikey, you know Mama loves you, but I'm here to tell you today, sweetheart, you get the crap off your face, put some clothes on, or there is no more funds for college.
Mikey, what do you think about that? She's about to cut you off because of how you look.
Well, if she's gonna be this upset over the way I look, then she's gonna have to get over it. I mean, why? It's just the look. I do not do drugs. I do not drink. I'm not promiscuous in any way whatsoever. I'm intelligent.
Mikey, why this extreme?
Why not? Why not? I mean, why blend in? Why look like everybody's walked down the street and not even be noticed? So you want somebody to come to you and say, hey, you're different, you're neat. People come up and talk to me just because of the way I look. I've made a lot of friends.
All right, yes.
I'd just like to ask Mikey, what type of satisfaction do you get out of body piercing and dyeing your hair?
Tons of satisfaction. I'm satisfied with the way I look, who I am as a person. I'm satisfied with my peers. I mean, I love it.
Wait, but doesn't it hurt? Ouch!
Yes.
Ouch!
Well, that's part of the fun. That's part of the fun, is the pain. You get natural endorphins.
Wait. Pain is fun?
You get it's a rush. You're just so excited. It's the most exciting thing ever.
Could it be that part of the excitement comes from the fact that you're majorly making your mom PO'd in a big way?
I don't know, maybe. But I mean, most of it, I think, is the community I live in. Mm-hmm. I like that more, I think.
Mom, do you feel like you failed as a mom?
I know I was a good mom to Mikey, but when she does this to me, I felt that somewhere I lacked. But
Ricki Lake was born as Ricki Pamela Lake in Hastings-on-Hudson, New York, on September 24, 1968, to a secular Jewish family. Her father, Barry Lake, was a pharmacist, and her mother, Jill, was a homemaker. Ricki was primarily raised by her paternal grandmother, Sylvia, until Sylvia's death in 1978. Ricki attended Ithaca College for 1 year and then left to pursue a career in acting. In 1988, Ricki made her first film debut as Tracy Turnblad, the lead character in the classic movie Hairspray. She also starred in other films including Crybaby and Serial Mom. She starred in Mrs. Winterbourne, Cabin Boy, Last Exit to Brooklyn, Cookie, and Inside Monkey Zetterland. She joined the cast of the Vietnam War drama series China Beach as a Red Cross volunteer for the show's third season. She also had a recurring role on the CBS sitcom The King of Queens. She guest starred on television series including Drop Dead Diva and a voice role on King of the Hill, and starred in the television movie Baby Cakes. She had a cameo appearance in the 2007 remake of Hairspray as a talent agent. Ricki Lake was Ricki's first daytime talk show, and at 24, she was the youngest person at that time to host one. The show debuted on September 13, 1993. During the series' run, its primary focus was on dealing with personal subjects like single mothers who were accused of lacking the experience of taking care of children, LGBT issues like discrimination, same-sex couples who want to have children, or straight people attracted to a person who is LGBT or the other way around, racism and prejudice, and much more. At times, she had lighter shows ranging from contests, celebrity guests, and reunions to granting viewers personal wishes. A majority of the shows had surprises waiting in store for the guests, which were revealed by a doorbell ringing if a guest didn't come clean about themselves. This prompted Ricki to bring out another guest who knew the truth about the primary guest's intentions. At times, the guest would find out that someone else had been listening to their confession while they were on stage or in the audience. Now, one of Ricki's most memorable and most controversial confrontations happened during the first season when she found herself dealing with Reverend Fred Phelps in a show that involved targeting anyone who carries the AIDS virus and why they deserve to die.
How is it harming your life?
Somebody's got to tell them they're not going to heaven if they keep living that filthy lifestyle.
For you to say that God hates anybody, you'll be going to hell.
Ignorant fag reaction.
Could you refrain from that language?
I believe in hell, Ricki.
This is still my show.
It's your show, and I'm leaving.
God is my judge, not you.
On today's show, you'll meet a man who wants to wipe out the entire homosexual community and believes that gays are worthy of death. He's on a crusade against gays. Going on in the town of Topeka, Kansas that many people don't like, but few have been able to stop. A minister by the name of Fred Phelps is trying to drive out the entire gay community through vicious attacks and accusations on the gay townspeople. Many say his approach is monstrous and hateful, but he says he does it all for the love of the Lord. He actively pickets at funerals of young people who have died of AIDS. Let's take a look.
If you think it's something extraordinary to picket the funeral, to stand quietly on a public sidewalk with a Bible verse.
As he does it all for the love of the Lord. He actively pickets at funerals of young people who have died of AIDS. Let's take a look.
If you think it's something extraordinary to picket the funeral, to stand quietly on a public sidewalk with a Bible verse, if you think that's outlandish, what would you think if we went out to the graveyard and dug up the body of the fag that died of AIDS and burned it to ashes and scattered the ashes all over downtown Topeka?
Please welcome Reverend Phelps and a member of his Westboro Baptist Church, Charles. Reverend, why are you waging an anti-gay holy war?
Well, You know, that's colorful language, my dear, but all I'm doing is what I've been doing for the past 46 years without any exception every Sunday, and that's preaching the Bible. For some reason, it's got on the front burner now, and I think it's because the fags have come, as they say, out of the closet, beginning at Stonewall, and pushed it in everybody's face.
Excuse me, before you go any further, I'd like to just say, I don't know the words you use in your home. I just don't find the words that you're using here appropriate.
Well,
you're in
my
my
dear,
home right now.
I am a Bible preacher, remember, 46 years.
I'm well aware.
I use Bible words, and I cite you Amos 4:11. I've overthrown some of you as God overthrew Sodom and Gomorrah, and you were as a faggot plucked from the burning. Same thing in Zechariah 3:2. It is an elegant metaphor that describes these creatures the way God intended them to be described.
Elegant metaphor. Anybody want to comment on that? Yeah, stand up.
Yes, I believe that faggot means bundle of sticks.
Well, that's why it's a metaphor. And just as those sticks characterize three ways, they burn quickly, they burn hot, and they burn long, they fuel the fires of nature, even so the ancient Sodomites fueled the fires of God's wrath, just as God promised it would do again near the end of this age if we don't stop them.
Okay.
It's an elegant metaphor.
Okay, you say you're a preacher of God.
Preacher
right?
of the Bible.
Preacher of the Bible. Okay.
Never missed a Sunday.
Why do you protest in this fashion? You go over to funerals. Don't you have any compassion for the family members
Got
that
a
are
lot
grieving?
a lot of compassion, and I want them to go to heaven. And somebody's got to tell them they're not going to heaven if they keep living that filthy lifestyle. And there's a verse that applies on some have compassion, making a difference. Others say by terrifying them, pulling them from the fire, hating even the garments spotted by the flesh. It's that kissy-poo preaching that's sending this country to hell in a faggot's handbasket. Right.
Kissy-poo preaching?
Yes. This country's going to hell because preachers are no longer preaching the Bible and preaching hellfire and brimstone and warning sinners to flee from the wrath to come. They're not friends of mankind who do those lying sermons.
Lying sermons, yes.
For you to say that God hates anybody, you'll be going to hell. You know what I'm saying?
After Reverend Phelps died on March 19th of 2014, Ricki tweeted on her Twitter page that when he was on the show, he told her that she worshipped her rectum on camera, which led to Ricki taking action off stage to force him off the show after that remark. Now, during a 1994 taping of the show, the audience became increasingly hostile during a discussion that was entitled, "I'm angry because people think I'm gay." After the show, one audience member who had identified himself as gay during the taping was attacked while waiting for an elevator. Now, one of the participants of the show said it was out of control. Ricki was criticized for failing to challenge the audience's inappropriate remarks. "When I said that I was gay bashed, the audience cheered," says one of the men, who was brought on to provide a gay point of view. She didn't respond at all to what was going on. But Ricki felt that she had been railroaded, saying that the man that said he was gay had an agenda. Ricki said he was put off that we didn't give him more time. "I'm more sympathetic than anyone to homosexuality. I grew up hanging out with people like him." Now, an LGBT activist group named GLAAD tried to prevent the episode from airing, but producers of the show insisted to GLAAD that they had nothing to fear, stating, "The show that will air is different from the one that the audience saw in the studio." However, an audience member who witnessed the attack was concerned about the effect that the broadcast would have, saying, "What happened in front of the elevators could happen all across America." But Ricki Lake fired back, saying, "It's not at all cool that someone got hurt, but it had nothing to do with the issue of the show." The show ended on May 25, 2004, despite the fact that Ricki had signed on for 4 additional years. Although Sony Pictures TV had many stations contracted through the 2004-2005 season, Ricki decided to end the show, citing, among other things, a desire to spend time with her family. She moved from Los Angeles to New York to tape the 11th season of the show, then returned to California when the taping was complete. After her talk show had wrapped production on its final season, Ricki went on to host the 2006 CBS limited series Game Show Marathon, which recreated classic game shows with celebrity contestants. She also signed a development deal with Game Show Marathon production company Fremantle Media for other ventures, including creating and producing future programs and projects. In October 2007, Ricki appeared in the Lifetime TV movie Matters of Life and Dating. In March 2011, reports said that 3 television studios, 20th Television, Universal Media Studios, and CBS Television Distribution, were interested in bringing Ricki back to the talk show realm, and in September of 2012, she was back. In competition with shows such as Steve Harvey and Katie Couric, she was canceled just after 1 season. The audience was just not the same. Ricki competed on the 13th season of Dancing with the Stars, where she achieved tremendous success, consistently achieving high scores. After making the finals, Ricki was announced as the contestant in 3rd place, losing to television personality Rob Kardashian and actor J.R. Martinez, despite having higher scores than either of them. Ricki won the Daytime Emmy for Outstanding Talk Show Host in 2013. In 2017, tragedy would strike, however, changing Ricki's life forever. Her husband, Christian Evans, who was 46 at the time, reportedly had bipolar disorder and also suffered through depression, which ultimately caused him to take his own life. Christian Evans was a jewelry designer who had been in a relationship with Ricki from 2009 to 2015 until their divorce 2 years before his death. Ricki and Christian got married in secret in 2012 and parted ways in 2015. They did not have any children together, but she had 2 children from a previous marriage. Ricki's 3rd marriage is to Ross Birmingham. In March 2018, Ricki premiered in a documentary called Weed the People, examining the use of cannabis as medicine and its status as a Schedule I prohibited drug in the U.S. The film focused in particular on the use of cannabis in the treatment of pediatric cancer. On February 6, 2019, she was revealed to be Raven in the Fox series The Masked Singer. She performed songs by Lady Gaga and Kesha. In 2019, Ricki began competing in the X Factor Celebrity. Now 52, Ricki Lake has recently began opening up about her hair loss. After 30 years of silent suffering, she has fully embodied self-love and is embracing her head of silver hair. But she says she has not always been this way. During a Good Morning America interview, she said that most of her life she had been in defense mode, trying everything from vitamins to wigs to extensions. Well, weave, y'all. Till finally she grew tired of the fight and made the bold move to shave her head. It was such a rite of passage, taking the leap of faith to shave my head, and my hair, thankfully, has grown back. And I learned so much through the process of really letting go of something that had been really bothering me. Once she'd finally shaved her head, she says a new anxiety overcame her. I was afraid of coming out because no woman, as far as I knew, had ever gone public about female baldness. She ended up telling the world in an emotional Instagram post that now has more than 73,000 likes. I have been struggling with hair loss for most of my adult life. It has been debilitating, embarrassing, painful, scary, depressing, lonely, all the things. There have been a few times where I have even felt suicidal over it. Almost no one in my life knew the level of deep pain and trauma I was experiencing. Not even my therapist over the years knew my truth. She attributed her hair loss to constant dyeing, styling, and teasing over the years in show business, particularly during her 1988 role as Tracy in Hairspray. Yo-yo dieting, hormonal changes, stress, pregnancy, and genetics, among other things, also led to the loss. And she tried every possible solution to make it stop. She says, I've been to many doctors, gotten steroid shots in my head, taken all the supplements and then some. My hair would recover and then shed again. It was maddening. Ricki was diagnosed with a hereditary condition called androgenetic alopecia. My hope is that I am able to help others struggling. As I did for far too long, this journey has been such a gift for me. I finally truly love my hair, and more importantly, I love myself unconditionally from the inside out. Jenny Jones.
Average kids, but their parents say there is a problem. Their kids have come a long way from those baby pictures. They're teenagers now, and they look a little different today. Okay? First of all, this is Leanne and her 15-year-old daughter, Carrie. When she was 13, Carrie decided to change her look. She shaved her head and pierced her ear with a thumbtack. At 15, she is no longer in school. This is Dan and his 18-year-old daughter, Sunny. She's been dressing and looking like this since she was 12. Her dad wants her to look like, and to use his words, a girly girl. This is Deb and her 13-year-old daughter, April. April started dressing punk about 6 months ago. She has pierced her ear, her own eyebrow, and plans to pierce her lip, nose, and tongue. This is Laverne and her 19-year-old daughter, Sherilyn. Laverne says she cried. Laverne says she cried for 3 days when her daughter cut her hair into a mohawk. Sherilyn's been dressing like this for 6 years, and Laverne is embarrassed and frustrated. Now, this is Cindy and her 16-year-old daughter, Angie. Cindy says it's her daughter's dangerous obsession with gangs and gang clothing that worries, and she wants to change that look. This is Stephanie and her 14-year-old niece, Donna, who's been dressing like this since she was 12. Donna says she's attracting much older men and she's concerned for her safety. And finally, this is Cynthia and her 18-year-old daughter, Danielle. Cynthia says she raised her daughter with morals, but you'd never know it today. Well, everyone has a different complaint, and I will tell you this. The purpose of this show is that the moms have asked us if we can help out and try to make over their daughters, in which we are going to do a little in the show. We're going to take a little stop down. We're going to do a complete makeover and see how the new look is with the parents and how the daughters like the new look. They've all agreed. Let's start talking to Leanne and Carrie. This is
Jenny Jones was born as Janina Stronsky on June 7, 1946 in Bethlehem, which was then in the British Mandate of Palestine. Her parents, John Stronsky, an Army officer with the British Armed Forces, and her mother, Sophie, a seamstress and dressmaker, were both Polish immigrants. The family moved to Italy before moving to Canada in 1948. Jenny grew up in a strict Catholic household, helping her family to run their bridal shop. Now, a quick tea break. Jenny must have had the game show fever because she hopped around from show to show, winning cash and prizes. She appeared on The Price is Right in 1979, winning $12,955 in cash and prizes, including a sports car and $6,000 in cash.
Here we go.
Has to beat 65 cents. Look at this $1 here. Look at this $1 here. She did it. You won $1,000. Yes. Oh, yes. Now she gets the bonus spin. In one of the green sections, $5,000 more. On the dollar, $10,000 more. Spin the wheel. She already has $1,000, and here we go. Okay, let's hope for the best here. $1,000. Slow down there. Slow down. 5,000 more. You've won 5,000 more. You've won $6,000. She has bid $6,000. Janina, the actual retail price of your showcase is $6,255. A difference of $255, and Janina wins her showcase. $12,955 today, including, of course, that $6,000 in cash. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Charles, thank you for being with us on The Price is Right, and thank you for being with us, too. Bob Barker saying goodbye, everybody.
This is Johnny Olsen speaking for The Price is Right, a Mark Goodson, Bill Todman production. Stay tuned for Love of Life next over most of the CBS stations.
She then appeared on the show Match Game in 1981 as Jenny Wilburn, winning $5,500, and then went on to do the show Press Your Luck in 1985, winning $18,706. Jenny started her career as a drummer in a rock band and later attempted a career in stand-up comedy during the 1980s. She experienced some success with comedy, winning the 1986 season of the TV talent show Star Search, which was a grand prize check of $100,000. She then enjoyed moderate success performing at major venues like Caesar's Palace and Radio City Music Hall, and shared billings with stars such as Tony Bennett and Glenn Campbell. After she toured with English pop singer Engelbert Humperdinck for 1 year, Jenny gained national attention with profiles in People and Time, along with interviews on 2020 and Larry King Live. The appearances caught the attention of Warner Brothers Studios, who offered her a daytime series that could showcase her talent, and The Jenny Jones Show was born. The Jenny Jones Show had over 2,000 tapings from 1991 to 2003. The talk show, taped in Chicago, featured unusual segments such as makeovers, paternity tests, secret crushes, neighborly disputes, and unruly teenagers. Now, although it was widely popular, it was criticized for its sensationalism and the ambush tactics used to increase ratings, especially after the murder trial of Jonathan Schmitz. Now, on an episode called Same-Sex Secret Crushes, taped on March 6th of 1995, a gay man named Scott Amador confessed his love for an acquaintance, Jonathan Schmitz. Now, while on the show, Schmitz reacted with laughter. But 3 days after the show's taping, he killed Amador. He was later convicted of second-degree murder and received a sentence of 25 to 50 years in prison. Amador's family then sued the producers of The Jenny Jones Show, saying they should have known about Schmidt's history of mental illness. In interviews, Jenny said that the producers told Schmitz that his admirer could be a man, but Schmitz thought that the admirer was a woman. Jenny also said that the show didn't want Schmitz to know the outcome of his secret crush. Amador's family won the initial ruling, and the show was ordered to pay them $25 million. However, the verdict was later overturned by the Michigan Appellate Court.
We talk. Take a look at. It'll show a little playback of what Scott said about you, John. Take a look at that monitor
right
down
here?
there.
Well, it entails like whipped cream and champagne, stuff like that.
Scott was pretty open about he's been fantasizing about you since he saw you under that car for the first time. He had an under-the-car fantasy and he had a hammock fantasy he's been telling us about. Did you have any idea that he liked you this much?
No, I did not.
Can you tell us what your status is? I mean, you involved with anybody, or?
No, but I am definitely heterosexual, I guess you could say.
He'd been engaged to a woman for 3 or 4 years, and they had broken up several months earlier. He thought probably it was she, and if not the ex-girlfriend, someone else he had met at work with whom he thought there was a spark between the two. And so he was fantasizing. He gets on the airplane. Before even he gets on the airplane, he goes out and he buys a suit of clothes, a sport jacket, and a pair of slacks, and a new shirt, and a new tie, and I think even new shoes. And he gets himself all spruced up because he is now convincing himself that this is going to be the turnaround event in his life. This time, if it is his old girlfriend, he tells everybody at work. This time, he's going to marry her.
Donna lives upstairs from me. And Scott was the guy, one night I pulled in, she was looking at her brakes, and I was looking at the brakes too, and Scott pulls in behind me and goes, well, your car's pretty funny, because I drew this peace sign in the back of my car, and it's, it says Peace Man on it, and then Scott says, you look like a hippie in your car, and then you get out of your car, and then he told Donna that I was a good-looking guy, and Donna told me, and I said, well, it's flattering, but...
It's flattering, but you're not interested. There's no way. There's no way, right?
No, I'm now
at least you got it out. Are you very disappointed?
You can see her on the tape draining every last drop she can get out of it. She says to Jonathan, after he sees it's Donna Riley there sitting with Scott Amador, and he kisses Donna Riley, and Scott Amador, obviously set up for this, tries to embrace him, and he pulls away and avoids the embrace, sits down next to, in the only empty seat next to Scott Amador, and as the audience hubbub kind of dies down, Jenny Jones from out in the audience says, so...
Did you think Donna had the crush on you?
Did I? No, we're good friends.
He gets halfway through the sentence, and she says, well, guess what?
Guess what? It's Scott that has the crush on you.
You lied to me.
His first reaction is to turn to Scott and to Donna and say,
you lied to me.
The bomb starts ticking. At the moment, Jenny Jones exposes with a big flourish and a huge audience reaction that it's in fact Scott Amador who has the secret crush on Jonathan, not Donna Riley. They leave the show, and Jonathan's still trying to act the gentleman, agrees to drive them home from the airport. The following morning, after staying up all the night before, drinking with friends from work, he goes home and he sees a note written by Scott that if you really want to get it off, I'm the only one who has the right tool. Jonathan sees this, and I think the bomb is really going off at that point.
Question. The purpose of your show.
Can I let this go?
No, you can keep it right up there. Well, it's good. The purpose of this show is simply to provide a forum by which you would encourage Scott Amador to repeat or state a lascivious fantasy to a man who you knew not to be gay. Isn't that true?
No, not at all. The purpose of the show was an opportunity.
I didn't ask you. There's plenty of attorneys there who'll ask you.
Okay.
The sole purpose of the business known as the Jenny Jones Show is to make money. Isn't that true?
Yes, I believe so.
Okay. And the way the Jenny Jones Show, the entity known as the Jenny Jones Show, including yourself, makes money, is to sell advertising and to sell syndication rights. Isn't that true?
No, it's not.
Tell us the other ways, besides selling advertising and syndication rights, that the Jenny Jones Show makes money.
Well, you said the way that I make money and the show makes money is by selling advertising. I do not make money by selling advertising. My salary is set. The show makes money by selling advertising. So it's not the same.
Mm-hmm. you participate in the show's revenues, and your revenues go up if the show's revenues go up, don't they?
Not exactly, no.
Almost exactly. Isn't
Would you
it
like
true?
me to explain? I can tell you exactly how it works.
No. Did you ever discuss with anyone prior to March the 6th, 1995, about investing some of the show's money in protecting the psychological welfare of the guests that you surprise?
No, I didn't.
Now, you actually put out, is this you?
Yes.
Is that you?
Mm-hmm.
You actually put out advertisements promoting what your demographics or your ratings are to show the relative success of your show, don't you?
Yes, I think they do a lot of ads like that.
You did, right?
Well, the company does, yeah. I personally don't take the ads out.
Lend your name, your picture to this. I move for its mission, Exhibit 88, to this big advertisement with your picture on it, right? That's done for a specific reason, isn't it?
It's done by the company, yes.
Right, and the reason is because it says, what would the world be without Oprah? Right? You've seen this before. I showed it
What
to
would the
you.
world be like without Oprah?
Like without Oprah. And then you open it up, Jenny Jones would be number one. Isn't that true? Jenny Jones is the number 2 talk show in key female demographics for the 2nd year in a row. And it's got the biggest thing on this ad is you. Did you see that?
Yeah.
Now you know exactly what you are doing when you are involved in this show in terms of pumping up ratings, because you even advertise about how good you do in certain key areas. Isn't that true?
Well, I don't place the ads, but ratings are not something that I focus on as much as I think the company does.
Okay, now answer my question.
Okay?
You know exactly what you're doing in terms of your desire and the show's desire to pump up ratings in key demographic areas in order to increase the income of the show. You understand that relationship between pumping up ratings and demographics to increase income. Isn't that true?
That's not what I think about when I'm taping the show. I do not think about ratings.
The purpose of that ad, maybe you misunderstood my question. Did you think I said you think about ratings when you do the show?
That's what I thought you meant.
Well, at some point or another in your day of 24 hours, you do think about ratings and money, don't you?
Not as often as you do.
Well, do I own your show?
You seem to be much more interested than I am in the ratings of this show. It really doesn't interest me that much,
I
honestly.
understand. Well, it interested you enough to sit for a portrait and have your picture taken in an ad that I imagine cost a fair deal of money. Isn't that true?
No, it's not. I don't sit for a picture for the ads. The pictures are done once a year, and then the company takes my picture and puts it into an ad. I have very little to do with the ads, actually.
And the purpose of this ad is to further influence advertisers to buy ads on your show, isn't it?
Well, I'm not sure. I think it's more for the stations to buy the show than for the advertisers.
Well, you'd get income that way, too.
Sure, the show would. I wouldn't.
And even though you participate in the show.
Are you going to let me explain how I participate? I'd love to have the chance.
And let's just speak of your background. I don't want to be too personal, but you call yourself Jenny Jones.
Yes.
Now, I guess you were formerly Janina Stronsky?
I was born Stronsky, yes.
Okay. And then at some point you were Wilburn?
That's correct.
Okay.
Right.
So that's not a married name or anything. You just picked the name Jones, right?
Yes.
Okay. And am I not correct that you, in terms of your background, you started out as you're a drummer
Yes,
in
I
a
was
rock and roll band.
Musician first.
Mm-hmm. And then, I guess, did you support yourself drumming?
Since I was 16, yes.
Okay. And you were from London, Ontario?
That's right.
And then you, oh, by the way, in terms of your research, investigation of the show, you also, in addition to deciding for the first time after 2 years to investigate what happened on your show, you decided to investigate me, didn't you?
I didn't have far to look.
You decide, well, apparently I know it had to be a little farther than your own show, and it took you over 2 years to investigate your own show. So I know investigating me must have been just a little harder than asking your coworkers what happened, wasn't it?
Well, your information was printed in the newspapers, so I wasn't incorrect, was I?
And also, you're a comedian.
I was, yes.
I see. So prior to you doing this, your entire professional life was being a drummer, am I correct, and being a comedian.
No, that's not all.
Oh, what else?
Sold movies in a ticket theater, office manager, secretary, accounts payable clerk, waitress.
Was that before you were 16?
She's not done, Your Honor. Let her finish the answer. He said, what else?
I ran my own catering business from home. I did temp work. I've been on unemployment. I did stand-up comedy, which I think you mentioned that. I think that's, sales clerk also.
In 2017, Jonathan Schmitz, then 47, was released from prison. He was granted parole prior to serving the minimum 25-year sentence because of good behavior. After the scandal, the Jenny Jones Show pressed on, but eventually, due to low ratings, the show was canceled at the end of 2003. After the show's end, Jenny laid low for a while before emerging in 2006 with a cookbook, Look Good, Feel Great Cookbook, How Eating Superfoods Can Help You Turn Back the Clock, with over 80 comfort food recipes. Throughout all of her years in the public eye, Jenny Jones has made it known that giving back is incredibly important to her. She began advocating for women's health in the early 90s after opening up about health complications she experienced as a result of silicone breast implants. She became an honorary chairperson for the Susan G. Komen Breast Cancer Foundation's Chicago Race for the Cure. She donated all the proceeds from her autobiography to breast cancer research. She even donated a mobile mammography motor coach to Chicago's Cook County Hospital in 2000. In 2008, Jenny started her own philanthropic program, Jenny's Heroes, through her organization, the Jenny Jones Foundation. The program offers grants of up to $25,000 to people throughout the United States and Canada who are finding ways to make a difference in their community. In 2019, the organization came together to help California State Firefighters Association as firefighters battled wildfires throughout the state. Through Jenny's Heroes California, she was able to donate $25,000 grants to ensure smaller volunteer firehouses throughout the state had the necessary safety equipment. Now 76 years old, Jenny enjoys doing cooking shows on her YouTube channel and blog, Jenny Can Cook. The channel became a new platform for her to connect with fans and share easy recipes. In June of 2020, Jenny celebrated hitting 100 million views and 1 million subscribers. When I made my cooking videos, it was just a hobby. I love to cook and just wanted to share my recipes in case some of my fans might be interested. I knew a lot of people didn't even cook, but it was still fun. I watched as the number of views continued to grow and my videos were soon discovered by the entire world. It makes me so happy because it means that my little home videos are helping people eat healthy, home-cooked meals, and knowing I'm making a difference is the best gift I could have received. Well, that concludes this video. Please drop down in the comments and let me know what you think. As always, I'm looking forward to hearing from you. Until next time, be sure to like this video, share this video, but most importantly, be sure to subscribe to the channel, and I will catch you on the next one. Bye.